What if I told you the goal isn't to silence a busy mind, but to actually understand it? Today, we're going to dig into one simple question that might just change everything. Let's get right into it.
You know that feeling, right? You're trying to fall asleep, but your brain is just running a marathon. It's replaying conversations, it's worrying about tomorrow. We've all been there. But here's the thought. What if our frantic attempts to stop all that thinking are actually the real problem?
So this kicks off with what we can call the thinking trap. It's this super common belief that a busy mind is some kind of bug, right? Like it's a glitch in our system that we have to fix or silence if we ever want to find a little peace and quiet.
I mean, think about it. We're told over and over that true peace comes from an empty mind. The Holy Grail is just total silence up there. But that whole approach, it immediately paints our own thoughts as the bad guy, as the enemy we need to defeat.
And so, what's the advice we get? It always feels like a fight, doesn't it? Stop your thoughts. Control your mind. Just force yourself to be calm. But what if that internal wrestling match is the very thing that's making everything feel so much worse?
Okay, so why is this fight so exhausting? And why does it pretty much always fail? Well, that brings us to this fascinating idea, the paradox of mental control. It's the totally counterintuitive reason why trying to shut down your thoughts is a battle you're just never going to win.
It's like this mental tug of war. You're pulling on one side of the rope, trying to stop thinking. But the result? You end up paying even more attention to the thoughts you're trying to get rid of. You try to force calm, but all you get is more resistance. It's this vicious cycle of frustration.
And that right there, that's the core of it. Trying to force your mind to be quiet doesn't actually bring peace. It just piles on more pressure. So now, you're not just thinking, you're stressed out about the fact that you're thinking. It's a mess.
Okay, so if fighting is the wrong way to go, then what's the alternative? Well, this next idea is a total game changer. It reframes the whole problem. What if that busy mind isn't a sign that you're broken, but a sign that your mind is actually doing its job and working really hard?
This is where we get this idea of unresolved focus. The thinking is pretty simple. A restless mind is just a mind trying to solve a problem. It's latched onto something, maybe a decision you haven't made, or a feeling you haven't really processed, or just some nagging uncertainty. See, it's not just random noise, it's a signal.
And this is the crucial shift. The goal isn't to stop thinking, not at all. It's just to notice what your mind is trying to chew on. You're basically shifting from being a fighter to being a curious observer. So how do you actually make that shift? Well, it all comes down to one really simple question, a totally new response that has nothing to do with fighting.
And here it is. It's this. Instead of trying to shove that thought away, you just gently turn toward it and ask, what is my mind trying to solve right now? That's it. It's so simple. It's not aggressive, and it can literally change your relationship with your own mind in an instant.
So here's how you do it. The practice is super easy. Once a day, just pause. Ask yourself that question, nice and gently. And then just name what you find. Like, oh, my mind's working on that project. Or, right, it's still chewing on that conversation from yesterday. Remember, the goal isn't to solve it. You're just naming it. That's the whole thing.
Now, this part is absolutely critical. The goal here is awareness. It is not resolution. Let me say that again. You are not trying to solve the problem in that moment. All you're doing is acknowledging what your mind is busy with. And just like that, all that pressure to fix it, poof, it's gone.
All right, so how does this one tiny question turn into such a powerful new habit? Well, this is all about making that shift from force to focus, from fighting your thoughts to just bringing your attention to them.
And how much time are we talking here? A huge commitment? Nope. Maybe 60 seconds. Seriously, the research on this is clear. This is not about some long, complicated meditation session. It's a tiny, tiny intervention. 30 to 60 seconds. That's all it takes to start making a real difference.
And that just fundamentally flips the script on how we approach this. You know, the old way was all about intensity, right? These big, heroic efforts to clear your mind. But this new way, it's all about consistency. It's not about one massive deep dive. It's about these small, regular, gentle pauses.
And the long-term result of that consistency is, well, it's pretty profound. When your mind feels like it's been heard, when it feels noticed, it doesn't have to keep screaming to get your attention. That internal shouting match starts to soften into more of a hum, all because the thought was simply acknowledged.
So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. When your mind won't stop thinking, don't try to silence it. Just pause for a moment and gently notice what it's trying to solve. That simple shift from resistance to recognition, that's everything. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. For so long, maybe we've treated our minds like an opponent, something to be wrestled into submission. But what could happen if, instead of fighting it, we just started to listen?